Hey, Mark here from solarpowerhelpsite.com, hanging out with the horses. And in this video, I wanted to share with you some considerations that you might have for the area that you live in and whether or not it's going to be good for solar. Well, there's lots of different things to consider, of course, but let's just touch on a handful of them. What if you live in an area that snows a lot? Well, you're going to want to be able to protect your equipment because, of course, it's going to get wet. There's going to be some corrosion. You want to make sure that the seals are right. And in situations like that, you definitely want to consult a contractor who knows about these kind of things so that they can help you with it. Now, the same goes for if you are in an area that rains a lot. You know, you want to be able to protect that equipment. But what if it's just cloudy a lot? Well, of course, that's going to affect the amount of solar that the sunlight that's coming into your unit. So you may not be able to get as much of a charge, but it's not an end-all. Because clouds are going to make it so it's diffusing the light, you don't have to worry about pointing the panels to the sun as much because light is really diffused and it's coming from all different areas. But of course, you're not getting as much of it into the system, so that's going to affect the amount of energy that you're able to create and potentially store depending on the device that you've got. Now, wind is another thing that you're going to want to consider. If you've got a very windy area, well, you're going to want to make sure that you've got heavy-duty security bolts or attachments so that one, the equipment doesn't fly off of a roof or wherever you've got it, and two, it doesn't hurt anybody in the process because it can be expensive on both ends, right? So another thing to consider is fog. Now, if you do have fog, you're going to want to point it in a direction where, especially earlier in the day, that it has the most potential to get light, and that's going to depend on where you are. You know, all these things that we're talking about here, it's not something that's going to end everything for you if you live in situations like this, but it's just something to consider so that you can make the best use of the space that you've got. For example, if you are in rainy or snowy areas, are there areas on your property that don't get as much rain or as much snow? Maybe it's protected a little bit, and you're going to want to make sure that those areas are also going to get the best solar exposure as well to the sun so that you get the most power. So what I suggest you do is go to solarpowerhelpsite.com for a lot of tips along these lines and other things so that you can make the best decisions along these lines and so that you can have fun with the process, because it really is a lot of fun going green and being able to make the most of the natural energy that we've got around us. I'm Mark, and I'll share more with you soon.